Warning, the following may contain imagery that may make some viewers uncomfortable. Viewer discretion is advised. Don't worry, it's all censored, but I figured I'd just put that warning screen just in case, but yeah. Anyway, let's get started. Well, the time has finally come to talk about all the anime tropes that I hate. Great. But anyway, but just a quick thing before we get started. None of these are in any specific order, like, you know, if I hate it, like, least to greatest or anything like that. Like, it's not like, you know, in any specific order. It's gonna be 5 things. I was gonna make it 10 originally, but I decided to shorten it to 5. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Number 1, tsunderes. While I don't hate tsunderes as characters, I feel like the trope is just starting to get old. I do have some favorite tsundere characters, like, you know, Luis from Family of Zero and Toradora from Toradora, but I feel as though anime just needs to like, every anime feels like they need to include it because every other anime is doing it. But you can tell when they're not really trying, when the tsundere has like no real reason to hate the main character or anyone else, but then just acts warm towards them when, you know, the harm or whatever needs her to be, you know, kind and loving, just so she can have a part to play in it. And it's just kind of ridiculous at this point. I don't hate the tsundere character, but the trope is just starting to get old, and I feel as though every anime just needs to include it just because every other anime is doing it. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. It's not bad in terms of characters, and I feel as though, like, if they have a good reason to be there, they can be there. But if they have real no reason to be in the anime at all, just don't include them. Just because every other anime is doing it doesn't mean you have to. Anyway, that's all we have to say about the tsundere trope. Let's move on to the next one. Number 2. Whew, you want to talk about tropes that are getting old / redundant? Well, do I have a trope for you? I hate this trope so very, very much. And that trope is basically guys seeing girls naked, whether it be, you know, falling on, you know, their boobs, or seeing them, you know, getting undressed, whatever you want to call it. It's really starting to get old and on my nerves. I feel as though anime needs to do it because, haha, very funny, because girl sends guy flying into the outer reaches of the stratosphere. It gets annoying / old seeing the same shit over and over and over again. And I realize that it's more repetitive in a straight anime than, you know, it is in like a yaoi or yuri anime, because, you know, they're the same sex, so I guess that's fine. But like, when you get like the regular harm or romantic comedy, it really starts to get old really quick, and it gets annoying having to see, you know, and the guy coming in and seeing the girl undressed, and you can tell, you know, when they're going to do it. When a guy and a girl are alone in the house, like, of course they're going to do something like that. It gets really old seeing that stuff over and over again. And I know some anime try to subvert the, you know, that trope, but they still go through with it anyway, you know. I just don't understand. Like, it really just starts to get old and annoying. It really does, you know. It's not fun. It's not funny for either party, you know. I mean, what's the point if either party is not even into it per se? It just really gets annoying to see the guy over and over again, and it's not even like they do it once and then it's over with. It's like they have to do it each episode or each, you know, time the guy, you know, walks in or whatever. It's like, how do you not learn your lesson the first time? Just lock the door. Jesus Christ, it's not that hard. Anyway, that's all I really have to say for this trope. Oh god, this is annoying and old. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Number 3. Childhood friend. Now, much like tsundere, I don't have a problem with the characters. I just have a problem with where they place this kind of trope in certain genres of anime. Like, if you place it in the Shonen Jump, it's practically fine in my opinion. Like, half the time the childhood friend will probably become like the rival or something. But when you place them in like a harem or even like a romantic comedy, that's when things get Don't get me wrong, I just think the sole reason for them to exist in those genres is basically so like the main guy doesn't have to get to know them, and they already have a reason to like the main guy in the first place. Like, he doesn't have to try to, you know, win them over or whatever. And you know, we all know 90% of the time they don't even get picked anyway. Because, you know, the main guy either sees them as like a little sister or, you know, family member, friend or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't hate yeah, I don't hate the characters associated with him. I just hate the trope only because, you know, I've seen it so many times in harms. They're a lot more prevalent in harms and romantic comedies than, you know, shonen jumps and stuff. I feel as though you like when they're in like a shonen jump or even like a non-romantic comedy anime, like a non-romantic comedy or a romantic comedy anime, they can be pretty decent. But when they're in when they are in a romantic comedy / romance anime, it's just kind of like, oh, here we go, another girl to get like the confession shot down or whatever. But I don't know, the trope gets old rather quickly, especially if you kind of know, especially if they're gonna get shot down later. So yeah. Anyway, that's all we have to say about the childhood friend. Let's move on to the next one. Number 4. OP as F main protagonist. Now, I don't have a problem with this if that's the whole joke of the show, like, you know, One Punch Man. And what made that funny was the fact that Saitama didn't even want to use his power, but he had to, you know, to face bad guys, even though they were annoying him throughout the whole day. But we have a main protagonist that's just OP as F and could just, you know, destroy anything with like a swing of his sword. It kind of just loses any sense of danger that the anime could have had or might have had, you know, and it kind of makes the other characters kind of pointless. You know, if they want to try to help the main character, what's the point of even them helping if he's just going to defeat the main bad guy anyway all by himself? But, you know, I'm not saying you can't beat the main bad guy. I'm just saying, like, beating the main bad guy without even taking a scratch is kind of like, what's even the point in doing that, you know? But that's all we have to say about it. You know, making them OP as F just takes out any sense of danger. It just kind of makes the anime boring, in my opinion, you know, because, you know, there's really no bad guy that can just stand up to them, you know? And half the time it's not even funny. So yeah, that's all we have to say about the OP as F main protagonist. So let's move on to the last trope. Number 5. Well, this is probably one of the most annoying tropes in anime, at least for me, / you know, one of the ones I hate the most, is basically when an anime basically just over explains things, whether it just be spouting exposition or literally a play-by-play of a fight or something like that. It's like, seriously, I don't need, you know, you to tell me what's going on in a fight scene, you know? It's like, just let the characters fight. I don't need to know that the character hit another character or they're about to be on their last leg or something like that. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's bad for characters to think while they're fighting or whatever, or try to like plan out their next move, but it can be kind of annoying, you know, after every hit, after every, you know, single thing something happens, a character has to say something. And in terms of like the exposition, I feel as though there are other ways to go about, you know, having the audience learn things besides just a character literally for hours, not even hours, but just minutes on end, just telling the main character what's going on. It's like, I feel as though, you know, we as the audience just need to figure this out for ourselves. Don't get me wrong, a little exposition, you know, telling is fine or whatever, but just spouting it for minutes on end just can kind of get annoying. Anyway, that's all I really have to say about this trope. Let's move on to the conclusion. In conclusion, these tropes suck. It's like, you know, I mean, for, you know, I feel as though most anime overuse them to a point where it, you know, the original meaning for some of these tropes have been lost over, you know, the course of time or whatnot. But, you know, even if they are an anime, it doesn't make the whole anime extremely bad. But, you know, I feel as though if we cut some of these tropes from anime, you know, it'll make the anime world / the anime itself better, in my opinion. Anyway, that's all we have to say. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload or go live. And yeah, hopefully there will be more anime content on the way, but until then, I'll see you guys later. All right, everyone, peace out.
Does it look to you like Eevee felt even half of Pikachu's quick attack? Not to me. It looks more like it didn't feel it at all.
I guess that means Gary's Eevee.
I don't need a play-by-play, man!